I noticed something about Jonestown and the LA riots that's similar about what the African Americans are doing. See, now you can't, I'm just setting it up, whether you live on the East Coast or West Coast African Americans, where you cannot blame anybody else except yourselves because of the attitude and behavior that you can continue to carry on through your leader there and the direction that he keeps facing. Okay? You can't blame Google anymore. You can't blame the computers. You can't blame anything else but yourselves and your own actions and your leader from the South there. Okay? You guys chose to follow him. That's what you guys have to fix. African Americans, you have to fix it. You can no longer blame my family, blame everybody else for the leadership you guys chose. Okay? And that's what I'm tired of. You guys sit there and gaze at the sky as in a memory, but you guys wanted to drink that shit. If you know enough to read a Bible and listen to a preacher, you also know enough not to drink that nasty fucking cyanide shit. Okay? So quit crybabying over it, Elton. Because you never cared anyway. Simply based upon who you married. You want to take advantage of people and their kids. To get the bling, to get the loot, the lotto. And so that's why I set this up, so you guys have no one to blame. So when people die, it's recorded. And then it's you guys who are the idiots that moved in and started tearing shit up. Okay? You can't blame the Google, you can't blame the YouTube, you can't blame your neighbors, because I'm providing the information. Because the kids who are getting along are going to figure it out. Okay? All right? If you wanted to move into the future, you should behave like it, and most of you don't. You profess to be a part of something which maybe didn't even get to be set up all the way. You guys take an infiltrative base, spray paint. You try to associate me with gangs that I've never been in, destroy my father, try to sleep with their wives, right? Mostly quiet people. You guys blame the religion. Whether it's Jew, Jehovah's Witness, whatever. You guys are pissed over a Russian girl. Multiple ones. Because you guys want to force me to sleep with one of your Negro chicks. You running around, Elton, cutting people. All that stupid shit because of your anger or your allegiance to a gang or a militant group. Tied to what? Environmentalism, because you guys say, well, none of this stuff existed, then you'd be on Eden or Zion, which is probably not true, because you're working within a 100 to 150 year window. There are some people who are successful using this technology, and some had to leave because you guys' attitude and your lies. So, admit. Just admit, Elton, you're in love with my grandfather, which is gross. And see, I can prove that I'm not really related to Ellery and them, so it's just this made-up story of you guys grabbing boys and girls and pointing fingers for your ease to cover for other children. It doesn't work, so we have to undo the knot. So obviously you guys took something that didn't belong to you, and you don't know what to do with it, because most people left or you guys killed them. Boring story. Okay? So I just tell people, look, move away, move around, work around those terrorist groups or whatever you want to call yourselves. It's not really scary, it's boring. You can't blame the newsreels or the newspapers anymore, really, because if you guys are hearing this and seeing it, it means you know what to do to get away from it, move around it. And you guys, this little argument, your bully fight in some schools made it all the way into my home, Colorado, and made my friends sick, right? Missing children from the Northeast as the numbers increase going down, and you guys have some made-up fallacy and memory erasing tool to try to replace somebody's life, okay? Which means your war was unjustified in the first place, African Americans. You're trying to set in a story in a place on the West Coast that most of you aren't even around for yet. Okay? Or not born at those hospitals. So it's your drugs and your drug money that's screwing shit up, dudes. You're not even really communists at that point, or socialists. It's just ambiguous action repeatedly stuck. When I gave you the same opportunity as Ellery, Elton, and that was to go home to your other home, get off the boat, get off of the bridge, right? Warning, you're gonna do the same as him? How come everybody else in this area kind of gets it and moves on and evolves, but you dopes? Right? Because I think you guys know you killed somebody's kid and they had to leave. And they reset in because they were like depressed. And you guys sit there and hold it over their heads. Multiple families, because you know that maybe the Pewlers and the Zilligs and the Fausts and the Millers and some other families knew what they were doing with that stuff. And you guys thought it was funny to turn it into a sex slave organization. So I'll just let the kids turn you guys into the sex slaves. How about that? Isn't that a good reverse? Good justice? Because if you guys ain't going to answer up for your actions, let the kids deliberate the justice. And see, now I can prove to you guys this Obama story is kind of fucking false too. All another one so some man can take control over the Starbucks or whatever. But you're not the leader, Harry. You're using stolen shit. Bernard, the baby blues, the bitted bats. If you guys want me to take care of it, clean it up, that means you guys have to do what you're told. You have to follow what the military asks, the police. And a lot of you don't want to do that because guess what? You don't want to recognize them as human beings like the rest of you, and they want paradise as well. Not to sit there and fight and take care of you guys and wipe your asses for the rest of your lives. So I don't believe in the gangster movement, street gangs, because most of your kids are going to grow out of it anyway.